Welcome to this year's Dueling Championships. This is the noble and ancient and traditional art of dueling. Newspapers and largest sets of traditions. Who might argue the newspapers? They know everything. We are going to do an elimination contest. Due to the number of entries, a few lucky people have got by. So you'll find out as you know. Also, should you be sat here and within a certain amount of time your challenger hasn't turned up, you will win by default. We might not force you to drink both cups of tea. I'll remind you the loser down there, because the winner is going to drink an awful lot of tea in the next hour. We're going to do 3-minute bouts. I know I said 5 minutes, but that's a lot of tea in 5 minutes. And it will be, you will sit down, we will give you your tea, your biscuits, and then we will give you a subject of my choosing, which is locked in here. Or I haven't thought it over yet, we're making enough to go along. You will converse. We are looking for facts. Ideally, interesting facts. Some of which might even be real facts. Failing that, interesting stuff, entertaining stuff, damn good bullshit. Witty banter. Remember, this is English tea-dueling. This is posh. So I want to see good posture, no elbows on the table, no pinkies, and based on last year, no flaming German. Because I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Sausage,
okay.
It's Weissesnisch.
Right. This. Are there any last-minute people who are desperate to have a go at tea-dueling?
No, I'm already on the list.
You are? Right, okay. Just before we kick off, we are being sponsored by a local company called Tea. You've heard that we do strange things with tea bags and wanted to find out. So Plymouth Tea have sponsored us. They have provided the tea. I shall now consult with a tea expert. How good is Plymouth Tea?
I rather like it.
Right. And we've got somebody from Plymouth Tea. Hannah, keep it up for a minute. Hannah's come along. We've terrified her because she's a tea sales lady. Tea expert. So if you're not drinking it right, and you hear tutting from the back, it's Hannah. But Hannah's here representing the company who have sponsored us. We've got prizes. We've got trophies. And most importantly, we've got tea! Yay! Hannah, I'm going to say something.
Well, I think we had a sort of bit of a relation last year, 2 years ago, yeah. And then we got approached earlier on, sort of in September, saying we would be interested, and we were debating in the office what exactly was going to be happening here, so it would be really interesting to see what actually goes on with tea-dueling, but it's really nice that people still take it seriously.
Oh, definitely. Obviously, it's not tea drinking. Yes, tea drinking. Tea drinking for men. And women.
But yeah, I hope you like the tea. If anyone really likes it and wants to buy it online, yeah. It's always, probably have to say that.
It's always very in a good mood after that tea. I'm having 20 tea peels there. Right. We're going to play tea. Okay, thank you. Quiz only connect. A few people? No? Have you ever noticed at the end of the quiz there's a cello? It's all about
Countdown is
Trace, your cravat's not straight if you're going for it.
my brain's not straight.
We know that.
Well, you notice they always have this channel play, and then Victoria Column, look at it, what's this? There goes the bell. I've never worked it right. So we decided if they can do it, record music, as we're doing tea drinking, we have a live orchestra. Yay! That's all we need. So she's going to give you some mood music. The spirit of the day. Hope you enjoy it. nice to teach you. Okay, our first bout. I'd like to see, sat at this table, Alan Window and Marion Pittman. Okay, ready to go? Okay. Duelists, I would like you to converse on the subject of the medicinal purposes of tea. Your time starts now.
Would you like sugar? You don't mind if I help myself? Not at all. Thank you very much. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it started, of course, in ancient China 2,222 years ago, when Chen Xiaokeng actually sat under one of the 4 first China tea trees, and it fell into his boiling soup. It wasn't a particularly good start, but the dessert was much better.
I would hope so. I would have thought the soup was a mild flavour.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But medicinal purposes, well, of course, I have no need for such things myself, but I have found that tea is very, very good at helping the Schlaxians of Cathartus to gain certain sexual prowess.
Oh, really? I'm afraid this is quite beyond my knowledge.
1 minute.
Fortunately, I have extensive knowledge of such things.
In that case, you see the fact I shall
This is not an argument, my lady, but merely a discussion.
No, indeed, do know I do
On the-
not mean it in that sense.
The benefits of a tea are manifold and very, very long in list. Did you know, for example, that it really does soak beautifully into a rich tea biscuit?
This is very true. How to say it was necessarily a medicinal quality?
Oh, yes, when one's hungry, this is fabulous. May we have another? May we have another? Sorry, I am being presumptive. Would you like another? Ladies first.
I have, of course, studied the medicinal properties of tea in the higher primates, but most of them seem to be uncertain.
Well, again, it comes down to the tannic acid that one finds within the great ocean in which a certain large fish lives.
Really?
The tannic acid. That was so delicious, I spoke with my mouth full. I do apologise. The tannic acid has a fantastic effect on the liver. I have no idea what it is. A liver.
Yeah.
I understand you have one.
I sincerely hope so. I suspect that my continued existence suggests that I do. And presumably I hope that it is a good thing. Certainly tea has a more beneficial effect on the liver than alcohol. I think this is definitely a proven fact.
Very true. But obviously not a wonderful effect upon one's own demeanour as alcohol does.
Unfortunately, the effects of alcohol on one's demeanour diminish. Whereas the effects
As we come to the end of that round. Good luck to the rest of you.
Your good health.
That was fantastic. But I think, looking at the scores, I have to declare.
Missy won.
I think, actually, I have to say, I think the Doctor homes the day. So the Doctor goes through to the next round. Are we doing right, folks? Right. Our second bout, I would like to call to the table Martin King and Lord Ashram. Gentlemen, I would like you for 3 minutes to, I think after that polite introduction, I think you should converse on manners maketh the man. The time starts.
One should always open carriage to my favour. What so? Out the door to any entrance. I often find that asking if they want to go first is always a quite gentlemanly manner.
I've also visitors for surgery. I've always gone for the policy of a child should be seen.
Quite so. I've tried that with both my children and failed quite
exceptionally.
Though I must admit, a lollipop is a very good way of selling something for at least popular.
Very true, but I find a gobstopper works much better. I do find that manners are quite lacking these days.
Yes. Some friends of mine are quite aristocratic and they're looking at private poetry skills. When I was growing up, you were taught at home by the best tutors your parents could get you.
Quite so, but I do find that some of these private schools on isolated islands are quite exceptional and do keep the children away from home.
Usually by a large stretch of water between island and the mainland.
One hopes so. I rather prefer an ocean between said island and the mainland.
It's a bit difficult to get to get them on holidays.
I wasn't actually planning to bring them home.
May I recommend a friend of mine?
By all means.
A friend of mine who went abroad, he works at surgery, he's now a doctor over in Madagascar. I've heard that when you send children there, you have a tendency to not come back, period.
That sounds exceptional.
I will give you my details when I get back to my search.
Please do. I'd be very interested. I had considered Antarctica because I hear that too is a place where you don't come back from.
I consider that a bit extreme. We do want to instill in them a tough attitude to go ahead and make one man to oneself and forge a good future.
Well, I feel that in Antarctica you'll not only make a good child, but also they'll be hardy enough to either survive or not survive.
All be eaten by the local wildlife.
Absolutely. Penguins are exceptionally dangerous, I hear.
All the birds my wife was as well as others, actually.
Oh, yes, that's why there are no men back down there.
3, 2, 1.
I've learnt a lot about how to bring up children and penguins. Well, I have to say, I think you might agree with this one. Both exceptional players, exceptional. But I think in this particular case, I would award the match to Martin.
Trying to play it
By random selection, I can inform Renta that she's already through to next round, people to play. So well done, Renta, you're already into the quarterfinals just by being Renta. But she does have previous. Yeah. So our next two contestants, one of which is even in the room at the moment, is going to be Chris Nichols.
I regret to inform you, Mr. Nichols is currently being filmed by the UC scope.
Oh, something else just under by.
I do believe Chris Nichols has just surrendered the match. So, for better or worse news, I can say congratulations, Tony King, you're through to the quarterfinals. One by the tactical method of actually bothering to turn off. A very useful skill in this game. In which case we come to our next bout. I would like to call to the table Kerry Endicott and John Campbell Rees. Two fours of the mission or a knockout. Okay. Okay, I'm inspired by what people say when they sit in front of me. I think we should look at kissing in science fiction.
Dave, is that just a warm-up to Bob's panel this evening about sex in science fiction?
I wouldn't know. I talk about tea
Sex? A lady does not know about sex? What is sex, young Mr. Trace?
That's a whole other discussion.
Amorous feelings in science fiction. And your time starts
Now, as the lady here, I'm not very well versed on these things, so I would pass to your superior knowledge as to whether you could educate me. Wales
As a gentleman, I wouldn't want to say anything that might upset the lady.
I would like to be educated. Would you like a biscuit?
Thank you very much.
Because I do hear that's this celluloid masterpiece called Barbarella.
Barbarella and celluloid masterpiece are two phrases which I would not normally put in the same sentence. I had to stop watching after the first 5 minutes because after the young lady was thrown from the spaceship, it went downhill markedly.
Right. So are you saying it is a film one should watch in private seclusion?
It is a film one should watch if you can't avoid doing so.
I'm more or less thinking that since the topic is amorous affections within science fiction, would Barbarella be an educational film suitable for showing in schools or to young ladies and gentlemen of a certain age before they're about to step out in the world and make their place?
It would possibly be useful to show young ladies and young gentlemen how not to behave in polite society.
One of those. So, I mean, is it a film that the Lord High Chancellor should be considering banning?
Oh no, it is not. You may let your servants watch it. But if you wish to keep your servants, you wouldn't inflict it upon them.
There are things that a household could, of course, be put in the team to keep the servants under control.
Oh no, you want to keep your reputation as being a good employer. Servants will not wish to work in a household with a criminal master or mistress.
No, I don't think they even know because the drugs would have the effect to render them insensible.
The drugs, madam? Are you talking about illegal pharmaceuticals?
Well, as far as I knew, opium was readily available over the counter. Well, I wouldn't know, of course, because I haven't had experience.
Close bout. 1 point in it. I have to declare Kerry is the winner. Okay, if I could come to the table, Sammy Hicks, Harry, you're on, and Natasha, the steam team. I think with two elegantly dressed contestants as this, making an impossible subject of debate is ladies' fashions in science fiction.
Oh, from what I've just seen, you don't wear very much.
I may have showed her a picture of Barbarella.
Yeah. So, how is your point of view? And
As they agreed, they don't usually wear that much. It's usually bikini tops.
yeah. But at least they're pretty. They've got like little jewels on them. But as a lady, you must wear everything down to your feet. Don't let those feet be
You
shown.
have to cover your arms.
I'm halfway there. I'm gonna drink some tea. Take a pick.
What do you think about horses?
Horses?
Horses.
Corsets. They hurt. I mean, look at these people around here. They're constantly wearing corsets. But I mean, there's a very pretty one with a big red dress, and it's really puffy, and it's really cute. But I'm not allowed to wear any of those, my mother said, because it's very dangerous up the tower. How about you?
I do have one, but it's Steel bone.
Ooh, what colour?
Brown. Very boring.
Oh, it's okay. Please take a pick of presumably tea. I can't talk very much, I'm sorry. So yeah, you know this place? It's covered in like very Victorian people. I'm not very sure how we managed to get here, but I'm pretty sure there's 2 Time Lords here. I'm not really sure. One's playing the violin for some reason. And then the other one's got a big hat somewhere, and I'm not sure where he's gone either.
Must be 2 houses.
Yeah, maybe they can show me where the lights are.
What would be the plural of TARDIS? Would it be TARDIS or TARDI?
TARDI.
TARDIS is...
I don't know. I'm really suck about them all day now. Bless you. Well, in that TARDIS, I wonder if there's actually any women's clothes from fashion.
Maybe.
Well, he does kidnap women, so you know.
I would say kidnap, I would say commandeer.
I'm not sure what that word means, but it must be a kidnap, so.
Take without giving back.
Oh, he does give them back sometimes, but sometimes he just throws them out. It's fine.
What, literally? Like,
Yeah.
space?
Yeah. It's very scary. I mean, look at this music.
It does look quite well.
It is quite I wonder if there's any.
Can you say about Lizzie's socks as well?
Lizzie's socks? Oh my gosh, they're amazing! Here you go, that is fashion.
In this round, we've discovered that Lizzie's socks are fashion.
They are!
They were all with Lizzie's shop. But I think another close fought battle, I'm going to give this one to Sammy. So we are 1 round down. We are into the quarterfinals. It's getting tougher. Things to talk about. Right. So I would like to call back for our first quarter-final bout, Alan Windle and Martin King. Okay, gentlemen, before we can score too many points for the end of this, I think the only thing I should point out now is your subject for 3 minutes is tea time.
Tiny whiny stuff.
Do you have time for tea?
I have time for everything.
Well, that's
That's
excellent.
very simple. Time is never a problem. There's tea time, and then there's dinner time, and then there's tea time again. If
Do
I
you
want
have
to
second
go.
tea time?
I have second time. I have 11s and 10s and oneses. I have all sorts of not oneses. That really wouldn't work.
I understand where you're coming from. And of course, if you miss one, you can always go back.
Oh, absolutely. And have another tea.
Actually, I also have a tea.
Of course. Yes, tea time. It's a novel concept time.
Very much like dinner time and lunchtime, would you say?
No, I mean the entire concept of time. It's merely a measurement of distance.
Well, for you, it seems to be rather like spaghetti.
Well, yes. Well, yes and no. One must understand that with a TARDIS, one can do literally anything. And to clarify a point I heard discussed earlier, the multiple of TARDIS is TARDISes, because TARDIS is an acronym.
Oh, right. Well, I rather liked the idea of TARDI, because it sounds quite posh.
It does.
And generally, what I've heard from yourself and your other faces is you're generally quite posh.
Well, it comes from being English middle class and white. One must understand, of course, that until quite recently, regeneration was purely gender straight. Until recently, and now we've managed to introduce the concept of gender equalisation, which is very fascinating.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about being a woman?
Well, actually, no, I'm not a woman, nor have never been. Well, actually, no, I'll just leave that subject. coming back to the original, time. Time is merely a measurement of distance. You use it to measure the quantum effect of light upon subjects. For example, you are there and I am here, and we are different. We are separated by distance and also by time, with the light travelling between us. Now, of course, to a mere human mind such as yourself, no disrespect intended.
Taken totally.
Thank you. I do apologise for your insignificant mind.
It is what in comparison to your own.
Well, yes, it comes from 606 years of experience, and I'm trying to work out, was I ever married? No, I don't think I will be, but I am at the moment, though I could be in the past.
That sounds very interesting. I keep thinking about sharks, and I can't understand why. And I am completely stumped by that because I was really messed me up.
The socks did expect, I was expecting a shark. But yes, again, teeth. And so is distance and space. And of course, whether we're
At time. Well, I do get the feeling that possibly one of the contenders should be the celloist. However, they are being penalised because they haven't actually consumed the tea yet.
one of the contestants should have been the celloist.
Cellist.
Blame him, not me.
Have any jelly babies left?
Yes, of course. Like a jelly baby.
I failed to eat today, you see.
Oh, well, that's dangerous.
You know, you get caught in a time loop and then you lose track of what time it is. Thank you.
I'll get
But as we've established, there is always time for tea.
Okay, a entertaining vote, an enlightening vote.
I'm going to sit here and bite their heads off.
Throw their skins away.
I think, very good, very entertaining, but I have to say, the winner is the Doctor. Okay, our next quarter-final that I call to the table, Brenta Witch and Tony King. I think I shall set this time. I would like to discuss corsetry in science fiction. The time starts now.
Do you have an opinion on corsetry in science fiction? I would really agree with you with that. I mean, science fiction in my mind is space and beyond, but science fantasy is such as us, steampunk and Victoriana and wonderful things like that. Oh yes, most definitely. Oh yes. I think that is most wonderful. I think we should introduce more corsets into science fiction. It should be definitely more advanced. Yes, absolutely wonderful. Oh, I would most certainly like one. Thank you. Do you prefer to dunk your biscuits? No, I don't like my biscuits too soggy. What do you think? I most definitely do. Yes. I would say the steel bone, it makes you have better posture. It makes you better in general. Most wonderful. I always find once you take it off, you feel a little bit less. Yes.
Yes, taking the corset off is one of the great pleasures of
I would agree with you in some ways, yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, when I was alone.
Of course, I would not expect anything else. We are fine ladies at this table. I feel he is more of an overseer. He is a wonderful overseer.
But he makes a fine lady, I promise I've been listening to this. I think it's going to kind of smart number 4.
Yes, I'm in agreement with that. Or it could be C major. I've always fancied playing the cello though myself. Oh, I play the violin.
Yes.
Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to an interesting point. This is an almost tied round. I need to check with specialists, i.e. the audience. There are 2 points of order I would seek clarification on. One is name-checking the sponsors of the competition good or bad etiquette in the game? So those who say good.
Point of order, Mr. Overseer, that might be accepted in the colonies on the other side of Atlantic because they're very keen to.
In Great Britain, is it good etiquette to name-check the sponsor while competing in the game? Those that say yes? Yeah. And those that say no?
Count.
And the other point of order, is it blatant attempt at influencing the judge by complimenting me that I make a good woman? Yes. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Those that say it's a good thing?
Point of order, Mr. Supervisor.
And those that say it's a bad thing?
It is most definitely a bad
Point of order, Mr. Supervisor.
Hang on.
It rather depends on whether you do make a good woman.
Ali, do I make you good? Do I make you good?
Not so much as tea.
So that's, I think we will take that as a minus point, which sadly puts me back in position. So, I think all I can really say then, audience, do you think this lady? Round of applause for Renta. And a round of applause for Tony. I think very, very close for, but we will give it by the audience to Tony King. Okay. Our third quarter-final, I would like to call back to the table Kerry Endicott and Sammy Nix.
Oh, no.
Okay. I've given this some serious thought, and I think recently in science fiction there's been a large debate about gender. I'd like you two, for 3 minutes, while I do a cup of tea, to discuss the importance of women in taking over the universe.
That's always fast.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, man, they're just weird.
Do you need any sugar?
No, thank you. I'm totally fine. You could go for sugar if you might like.
Women taking over the universe. Are you familiar with a book by Frank Herbert called June?
June? No, may you tell me more, please?
We have a section of the evolution models. and they offer advice if you want to read a situation in advance. So you can pass this on to the near reader male in the court.
Wow.
I think that was a good thing.
That is a rather good thing. But I mean, with women in science fiction, they don't have all the dangly bits. So, it means the last step can be taken over by. So, we have an upper hand because we have less dangly bits.
So you mean that things will become hard in given situations?
You said it, not me.
I will be.
You will be. Well, maybe enjoy yourself to a biscuit.
I can offer you a biscuit.
I don't actually like biscuits, but thank you very much for the offer.
I mean, one of the things within this place that we come to is the biscuits are divine. I'm led to believe that, you know, eating a biscuit is part of the pleasure of conversing. Would you like half of mine? So
No,
then have half and half.
But Alfie, thank you anyway. That's cool.
So, what science fiction can you talk about that women have an upper hand?
Well, with that Doctor Who thing that I keep watching, because that's the only thing that ever shows up in this entire time.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, he constantly steals women, and then the women always, like, they always, like, kind of take over his mind, and then he's like, oh, I love you, and then they're all really upset. But then women are always good. Like, we're women, so we must be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly! But we can't trust them. Can't trust them.
Is this personal experience?
Yeah, but they're pointy teeth.
Pointy teeth? Is this the pointy teeth you have felt on your throat today and stuff?
No, I whacked him on a saucepan.
She turned one down.
Would you like one?
I've eaten about 5 already and half a bag of jelly babies.
That's all right.
And a few sugar lumps.
Yeah, but you're epic, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
I must be very careful not to say it was a hard battle. Hard fought. And that's hardly anything between them. But I think with the final tip in the audience at the mention of the frying pan, I'm going to give it to Sammy.
No,
This should be interesting, because none of these players have actually played yet. So I called to the table Francis Harding and Yulissa. Cat in the Hat.
Can't really good.
Okay, the Cat in the Hat in science fiction. This is so going good. Okay, we have a 3-minute bout with the time sheet ready. Ready? We would like to discuss cats and hats.
Do have a biscuit. I think I'll only have a broken one because, you know, I've been called to the cats and I have to get him to the work down the July last night. And sadly, I don't think I shall do it. But I'm understanding so much. Your hat. Can I take it it's London? Possibly Paris.
Mark Nathan or French it is in London. Though, to a certain extent, this hat, in its essence, comes from a number of different senses. The hat that appears upon my head is rather a roll rather than an individual hat. Individual hats may fail due to the effect of the weather, or suffer calamities, or on one tragic occasion, which is sort of famously in November, becomes followed mysteriously by a side again. It is a long story, a long and very sad story, and I would hate to go into that story and thus spoil a very enjoyable tree with my own personal tragedies. But another hat can always be found upon the same road. It's like an olive duke or knight Marshall, or something of that sort. There was always a hat playing the role of mine.
I see what you mean. My hat comes from Paris, and I found the shop in a most peculiar way. I saw, or thought I saw, the outline of a stripy cat appearing on a wall. It appeared to me to be smiling and gesturing. It was curious, most curious, and so I decided to follow it. It led me down by the Seine, across a bridge, and into, I hasten to add, not somewhere I normally go, but there was a charming little shop. A young lady opened the door for me, and the cat led the way in. It went immediately to the window and curled up on a cushion as if it had been there all along. But I looked around and I found this delightful invention. It was not my usual thing, but I delighted in trying it on. The cat approved, and so I purchased it and came away very happy with my purchase. And do you know, when I tried to find the cat again and the curious hat shop, I totally failed. It had gone. It was one of those places that vanished into the mist, as it were, once the clock struck 12.
We can't stop them.
Time, Judge.
I was too busy listening about the hats. You said I very much use your place for eBay. You really can't stop them, can you? Stop! Gary, we're going to be delayed. I can't stop the contestants.
On the contrary, sir, I shall be civil.
I think it's a very good battle, but I'm going to award this one to Yulissa. Can I call to the table and defending men everywhere of every planet, Alan Wyndham, and your rival in this match will be Tony King. Right, we are looking at the Doctor versus somebody who's well versed in Victoriana. So, connecting the two, I would like to discuss life on Mars. Martians and life on Mars. And your 3 minutes begin now.
No, I'm all right with it. Well, my experience of Martians seems to be pretty limited, really. I mean, in London we don't really see them. We see dinosaurs, which I believe is under your issue.
No, there are Martians in London. Have you not seen the contents of 10 Downing Street?
I have not been accepted to 10 Downing Street as of yet.
Oh, well, I was there in 1823, 1996, and last week. And yes, Martians would be a generous term for them. Now, the question of life on Mars. First off, what does one mean by Mars? Secondly, what does one mean by life? Would you care to discuss?
Well, I think Mars is a... No, I'm okay, thank you. I think Mars is a planet. And I think that we should be moving on and living up there and moving and spreading across the galaxies. I believe being on Earth is very restricted, and I think we should be moving up.
I do apologise, I forgot your human. Yes, of course, one must travel the world, travel the universe. I understand you've recently reached a comet, which is fascinating. Though you fell over doing it, which is a shame.
And have you never fallen over doing something adventurous?
Well, we all have our 18. Well, to answer that question, one must first be an adult company. Second, one must be a multi-gender, sexual orientation, and species concept. Because Yes, of course I've fallen over. On more than one occasion, there was the famous... No, we'll leave that one aside. No. Mars, I assumed we were talking about Mars, the god. But yes, Mars, the planet, is a good one. You don't have to be named after.
I think Mars the god is a load of rubbish. That's all Greek crap.
Oh! Do you not know where Victorians come from?
I would much prefer to study the ancient art of Egyptians. They are much better versed.
Oh, no. They couldn't even write properly.
But
They
were,
used pictures.
yes, but they were mighty fine at that.
They were fine at that, but they weren't good at medicine. They didn't work out how to run down the street naked if one discovers that the bath overfills. The Greeks, they're marvellous people. They're fantastic people.
Yes, however, but the Egyptians did learn to, have cats as pets, and that is so much better than having dogs as a pet.
No, debatable point, but one only has to look at the modern world. Yes, the Egyptians looked at things on walls and worshipped cats, but how do you push that through Facebook? Did you know that the Egyptians were into incest in a big way?
Well, whatever floats your boat.
Well, true.
You can't. They are high above us. We cannot discriminate what they do.
In 663 years, I've never met so
Wow. Well, Brownie started off with Martians and ended up on incest. Quite entertaining, really.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
The young lady, did she not use language that is not appropriate to a young lady?
Unfortunately,
yes,
she
but
did.
I have a history of violence. This is better than breaking it. Mars was Romans.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you did say at the beginning it doesn't always have to be true.
Anybody who's read Percy Jackson would know that.
Good both.
Yes,
No one's mentioned actually.
Look, it was a very, very good night in Greece, and the Romans are horrible evil.
I mean, everybody said there was no life on Mars, and still they
They had several books by for planning operations as well. They were hardly not suitable.
Roman
They were
surgery
very
was
good.
incredibly
They were also very good at mathematics. After each and every flood, the Nile eradicated all efforts at field boundaries, and so meticulous records were kept, and the fields were resurveyed after each and every reception.
Are you saying we did Egyptians at Dawlish?
But the
Point to me, I think, on that one. A very good battle.
Yes, but the entire point about the Egyptians was to lead up to a joke about Facebook.
And I think you will agree, forgetting a booking about Facebook, I think very good battle, but in this particular case, I'm going to go with the doctor. We come to our second semi-final. And I once again call to the table Sammy and Yulissa. Before you spend the rest of the evening conversing after the time starting, I think you had something to talk about. I would like you to talk about, and inspired by the room, somebody's chest, I would like you to converse on ghosts, poltergeists, and other strange things. Yes, Kurt, your chest I'm talking about. I see the ghost in her chest. Why is ghosts
Well, they're very indelicate, our germs.
the supernatural.
The supernatural,
Your time starts. Hey.
a very difficult subject. Do you have any experience in this?
They're everywhere, like flicker, like everything, they fall down, books crash around. My little chameleon, he keeps like finding different things, and then the table flies about, and then I'm not even sure what happens. But I'm pretty sure my hair glows and it's magic, so that's pretty supernatural, I suppose.
You seem to be dwelling in a house that is, well, shall we say, infested with this sort of problem. Have you considered calling in a priest to have a place? You have no daughter? No. Oh dear. You live in the top of the tower, I understand. Yes, of course. But you have some visitation there. I think it might be time for you to leave the tower and find somewhere new. Poltergeists don't generally leave their area. If you leave, and take your books with you, of course, and find a more salubrious place to live. The poltergeist won't follow. He likes it where it is. I myself have little experience of these phenomena, but I've heard an awful lot. However, I believe there are unscrupulous people who will use your fears against you. It is very wise to be cautious about who you tell. There are people who write stories about such things, enough to chill the blood. Never ever read one after dark. I fear it would not be very good.
Oh gosh. May I ask what the author is?
Well, I believe I heard somebody say it was a Mr. David Trace.
Yes?
I believe he is. He has been known to chill the blood. Shall we try more? Yes. There is a time of year, of course, when telling ghost stories.
Oh, that's Halloween, isn't it?
exceptional. Yes, indeed.
Oh.
And do you enjoy Halloween?
Well, my favourite time of year is every time on my birthday. I have a look outside my window, and then there's lights. But I do particularly like Halloween. But my mother, she doesn't let me go outside, so I never really do much entertainment.
Would you like to dress up?
Oh, yes, please.
I do have a few questions. If you'd care to remove from your tongue and come and join me, I think we could do something for next Halloween. And then ghosts and poltergeists won't worry you anymore.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you so much.
A scary round, an entertaining round, and we'll reward this one to Ulysses. We have come to the final. It's been hard fought, possibly educational. But always entertaining. Silence. No. The final, ladies and gentlemen, representing men of every planet in the universe, we have Alan Window as the Doctor. And representing women and evil people everywhere, Ulysses. Ladies and gentlemen, your final. One man, currently. One woman, permanently. I think it's the one thing I'd discuss. Ladies and gentlemen, in science fiction, I would like you to debate the battle of the sexes. And your time starts now.
I will offer you sugar, but I noticed last time you didn't take it, so... Oh, bless her.
Indeed, sir, I do not know your name.
I am
Ulysses.
the Doctor.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, Ulysses. Yeah, very interesting question, the battle of the sexes. First off, what is sex?
Well, I really don't wish to talk about sex in that way, sir.
It's okay, I wasn't intending.
The battle of the genders would be more appropriate, don't you think?
Yes, but which genders? I mean, you only have two.
Of course. I realise that where you come from there may be one or two others.
No,
I have... There is. Ah, interesting. In my readings of science fiction, I have discovered there is a variety of people, and on occasion I am puzzled as to which is which. However, I have noted with some regret that the ladies are generally supposed to run around and scream and faint. I cannot see the point in this when most ladies have to be very firm in their lives and very tolerant.
I will correct you on three matters there. First off, yes, in Gallifrey we have two genders. On Galactically Active Grimorian, there are in fact 6 genders. On the Titanic, there were 4. And on the steam train, muddy train, I've got one now. Thank you very much. The Orient Express, being corrected from the audience, there were 4. Now, women as passive little creatures, yes, some of my companions have been so, but I will only have to mention the word ace, baseball bats, and Daleks, if you want a strong woman with a strong arm.
Yes, that young lady was particularly sound in my considered opinion, but there are some men in science fiction that one would not wish to associate with. Indeed, 1 or 2 who have unfortunately left their companions to some kind of dangerous situation, and indeed a lady has to step forward and save the day, and they do it an awful lot.
Yes, but again we come back to this question of the gender and the battle of the, I'll use this term because it's a colloquialism developed by the Americans, which is one of your states on the planet, called the battle of the sexes. It comes down to what is gender, and does it really matter? Male, female, I don't care. I'm Welsh.
That does not exclude you, sir, from anything.
Does not exclude
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen are equal.
Absolutely.
And should be considered
Yes,
so.
yes.
Science fiction has come around in the last few years. I am very pleased to see it.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole construct of what is
That is the battle. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the final decision. And as the discussion was the battle of the sexes, I think representing one sex, I can't really be considered an unbiased judge. So I should ask the audience, do we consider that the battle of the sexes was won by the Doctor or Nissa? So, it is nothing but a show of hands, the Doctor. By Unissa.
Well done.
An extremely close fought battle, but it has probably been the obvious answer. In the battle of the sexes, the lady always wins. That brings us to the end of the tournament. However, there has been a request. We would like to see.
I can't do the Algar.
No, it's been requested. Could we see the Doctor in a contest with Missy? At the judges' invitational mini tournament of 2 contestants. We have the Doctor. Yay! And we have Missy.
Batshit crazy! Loving you has made me bananas! I remember that one. It was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
I have consulted with the experts, and we've decided there's only one possible debate that will decide this battle. For 3 minutes, we would like to debate 1001 uses for a sonic or laser screwdriver.
Can I just clarify one point? Do we have anyone in the room under 18?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to leave?
Okay.
Please leave.
Right, shall we do 1001 clean uses? Right, 1001 slightly mucky uses for a sonic or laser screwdriver, and your time starts now.
Well, first off, Missy, I call you Missy, despite the fact that you're the wrong gender.
Hang on a minute. Oh my God!
Do you have your Sonic with you?
I might have.
Well, get it out then. Mine's that length.
It's that length.
That's not your Sonic. That's your methodology of getting down from the upper stories of the house.
I haven't pressed its buttons yet.
Well, when you start pressing buttons, do let me know so I can get excited.
Would you like a biscuit?
No, thank you.
Would you like a biscuit?
That's already already.
Would you like a biscuit?
No, thank you.
Would you like a biscuit?
Your insanity does give me an unfair advantage over the female gender, or sex if one will, but I still think that you're batshit crazy enough to be quite scary. You see, I remember you with a bit. Oh, you still got one. Now, I must admit, your playing of that long, hard piece of wood between your legs was quite entertaining, but...
I don't know how to pluck a G-string effectively.
Yeah, although, of course, I am functional in many different techniques and crossing genders there. I don't know what you're doing. I'm getting my own words mixed up. I don't know why.
Must be getting excited.
Thank you very much. Knocked it out there. She knocked it out of the park. Thank you very much. So, Missy.
I was going to make a Hitchhiker's Guide reference,
Go
but
on.
there's under 18s in the room.
Oh, dear, I know.
And I haven't counted how many.
3. I have. But that's the difference between you and me. No, thank you. I don't want to deprive you of your ability to stuff your face. The difference between you and me, my dear...
Is tea loosens your tongue, clearly.
Well, loosens something else in you. Oh, that is brilliant. You're doing that without using your hands.
Remote control.
Her fingering is divine. There are children present, there are younglings present. That's another
Yes, but they're below my eye level.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
That was 3 minutes, folks.
Was it really?
Gary, we have a T-shirt of Missy says, "Would you like a biscuit?" Right, audience.
Missy,
you get to decide between good and evil. Who wins the day? Was it good or was it evil? So, what does Stephen Moffat know? We declare the winner is Missy. That concludes our teachers
I'm getting my own back for all those years of jelly babies and terrible, terrible trauma at the dentist.
Yes, and it shows.
Less teeth, more room.
Before we get into too many regeneration states, back in your cages. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your tea dueling. Did you enjoy it?
Yes!
Are we coming back next year?
Yes!
Do we let these two come back next year?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, can I just thank you for Pop Mistress, Timekeeper, and the live Philharmonic Orchestra that is
And our referee.
And of course, the tea!